Hey everyone, welcome to episode 49 of the Miami Tech Pod. I'm Cesar. This week we got Brian and Maria in the house, and our first ever returning guest, Jadon. Welcome back to the Miami Tech Pod, Jadon Johnson, everyone.
Hey, good morning, everyone. How's it going?
And everyone knows this, but you are the head of business development for partnerships at Upstream and the Hack Daddy extraordinaire at Miami Hack Week, which is coming up.
Yeah, I mean, thank you all so much for having me. I'm super pumped about what's happening with Miami Hack Week, and I mean, I'm honored I get to be the first returning guest. Or as they'll say, Hack Week is so nice we had to feature it twice.
Boom.
You know
There we
you're
go.
welcome here anytime.
Thank you.
Be careful. Like, third time you become like a candidate to be a co-host here. So, don't,
Okay.
So, let's just jump right in, right? Like things are, it's a new year. It's like officially winter in Miami, meaning that it's going to be 60 degrees every morning for the next week and then jumps into the 70s by 11:30. But talk to us about Miami Hack Week V2, which is January 23rd through the 30th. And I'm hearing it's super exciting. We want the scoop of what's to come.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, if you haven't even like if you're listening to this podcast and you're like, what is Miami Hack Week? Then you're a bit too late to what's probably about to be the most amazing hackathon experience that has ever happened in Miami. But basically, we're bringing a bunch of engineers from across the world and hosting them in hacker houses across or mansions and houses across the city. And these houses are being ran by companies, and we've essentially turned them into hacker houses because these engineers will work from these spaces for an entire week, while also partying and going to social events. Probably the most like Miami-esque hackathon that you could possibly think about. So we're like really stoked. We brought on some incredible partners. We've worked with the local community, and we're pulling together some incredible initiatives. So really happy to see like just the progress that we've made from the first one and see the growth. Like the first Miami Hack Week, we had about 8 houses. Today we're up to like 23 total houses, 27 like companies participating. So I mean, I for one, I'm just like, how am I going to go to so many houses in a week? But two, just like represents just like the what's happening in our ecosystem and how eager people are to play like some role in helping with the magic. So I mean, super stoked for the plans we have.
And you all just announced that you had a really cool partner that's coming in with some COVID rapid tests for everyone participating. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, we can't ignore the elephant in the room. There's been a couple spike with cases, but as an organizer, we can definitely evaluate how is it that we're creating the safest environment possible for or attendees. So we're taking a couple measures, including requiring testing 42 hours before. We've brought on partners like OnGo by Intrivo, and offering testing kits to all our hackathon attendees, and we're testing people at our events and in our hacker houses. We have the same testing requirement for our closing ceremony, and encouraging the use of masks in our houses, but also requiring them at our opening and closing ceremony. We've also been just like listening to the feedback from our hackers in terms of things they want to see us doing to make them feel safe. So we're trying to create the safest environment possible, and these collaborations just represent those actions or steps that we're taking to help enable that.
So I know some folks might be too late to the kind of participate in the hacker houses, but are there opportunities for people in the community to come to that opening or closing ceremony?
Yeah, I mean, I want to say that I always think of Hack Week as us like building South by Southwest 2.0, right? So there's not just Miami Hack Week with the hackathon going on. We've seen people like I think yesterday I saw like Miami Angels and Chris Adamo announce like a Miami Hack Week event. I had no clue they were planning that, and we completely encourage people to throw their own Miami Hack Week events. So we do have like a public calendar of events that you can go to if you want to come hang with us. We're definitely opening our opening ceremony and closing ceremony to the public. But during the week, if you check out our calendar, there are events that are actually open to the wider community, and we encourage people to definitely join us. So I know like the one I'm most excited about is I'm hosting a salsa night. We're hosting a salsa night in Wynwood actually. And it's not on the calendar yet, but just know we're dropping the details soon, and that's going to be open to the local community, open to hackers. It's like a sunset salsa hour, and it's going to be really fun.
That's amazing, man.
I love that.
Maria, you going to the salsa hour?
Oh yeah, I've danced with Jadon. He's got some moves. Janine too. She better be there.
There you go. Get it. All right. I'm on the website. I'm on miamihackweek.com. And I'm looking at the houses. You're not kidding, brother. This is like serious. These are serious houses. These are like, and I'm looking at the sponsors. So we have a Quick Note House, Handshake, Shrimp Society / Solana, Tap, Threshold, Space Eyes, Norris, Fortunafi. What's that? Space Whale Capital. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, so one, there are like two little observations there. We have a lot of like blockchain companies are participating in Miami Hack Week, but I mean that's I feel like that's more by nature of us deciding to do this in Miami more than anything else, and just like the affinity here towards blockchain and crypto in tech. But we do have some other incredible partners. And, funny thing is a couple of these folks are actually previous Miami Hack Week participants who've gone on to like raise money and have now decided that they want to like help create that same experience for some of our hackers. And then we've had folks who have decided to like come back because they just love the first one, like Quick Node, like the Hard Tech House, like Lula, like Space Eyes. These are partners we definitely worked with on the last one. So they're all like fun houses. I'm really excited. We have like some local companies participating as well. Even like Paddle is hosting a house on Key Biscayne, and they've like rented scooters, golf carts, and obviously paddle boards. They're doing like morning yoga, like a really holistic experience for the hackers. It's not just about like writing code. It definitely takes the experience to a whole other level, and to know that we're gonna have that at like scale, it's like incredible.
So this is really awesome. How big do you think? Like, how many houses do you think would be the max for Hack Week, Miami Hack Week 2022 Fall Edition? Like, what's your upper limit as far as how big you think this can get?
Yeah, I mean that's an absolutely great question, and I feel like for right now, because it's funny because it took me yesterday being like, hey, I need somebody to manage ops, and I was like, wait, how big is our team again? And I was like, wait, I actually have like a full-time team of 5, not including myself, who like works on pulling this event off. So if we go and honestly, we're at our upper limit as a team of 5. So I mean, they're just like, there's an abundance of real estate in our community because we haven't even started exploring the Gables as much, which definitely has the housing that kind of fits the profile. But we hope to eventually scale this experience to the part where companies just like know what to do when they're coming to Miami Hack Week, and we don't have to like hold their hands as much in terms of walking them through the experience. In the same way, if like I think of it like Art Basel, there's like a core Art Basel Miami Art Week activation, and then the rest of the community is able to just like activate around those dates. We hope that we don't want to be the gatekeepers of scaling the experience, because there's just so much bandwidth that we have as individuals. So we're like counting on the community to activate to that extent, and it will take a little while once the concept starts resonating a little bit more with folks. But there's no doubt in my mind that in the next couple of years, you'll be unable to book an Airbnb or book real estate when Miami Hack Week is in town. So yeah, I mean that's what I'm pretty excited about.
So of the hackers participating, what % would you say are locals versus folks flying in? And I ask because I remember in last Hack Week, I was, going to some of the houses and talking to some of the participants, and a good amount of them who were visiting were kind of like feeling out Miami. And I feel like your conversion rate to kind of getting people to decide to move here was pretty high.
Yeah, honestly, I like randomly go to these events in our community, and people are like, "Yeah, I finally decided to move," and I was like, "I love to hear it." So I feel like around 60% of our attendees for the core Miami Hack Week experience came from out of town, and is probably coming from out of town again. And like this time we were incredibly thoughtful in terms of how we curated the event. We didn't take 3 weeks to just like patch it together, so we had some time, and we really activated some of the connections we had access to. So like I'm really excited to be working with like Miami-Dade College and FIU to have our Hack at Campus track, which is specifically geared towards your students, which has like elements for learning and kind of like career development. And then also we've came up with like a couple creative ideas in terms of connecting our students to the hacker community. So we're not just like siloing them off from kind of like the experience that we're creating. And then, I mean, we haven't spoken about this publicly yet, but by the time we go live, this is going to be like public news. So we're also launching something called Hack City, where we're almost like working with the local co-working spaces. We have a space we're building out in Wynwood, and then and you can work alongside hackers. So even if you're not like a registered Miami Hack Week attendee, you can essentially come and co-work with our community. And the idea here is to encourage some of the collaboration, is to give access to startups who are looking to hire talent or want exposure to these individuals in like a very like neutral, fun space. So I mean, we brought on a couple incredible partners like the Labs, CIC, and we're activating a really dope space in the heart of Wynwood. And if you go to like miamihackweek.com, /Hacker City, it's not live just yet, but you'll be able to see all the space that you can work from for the week, and hopefully or build or the space we're building out, and some really dope companies reside in that building. So I'm really excited about that.
That's incredible, man. All right, 2 questions, rapid fire here. One, how frequently do you want to do Miami Hack Week, right? Like, is this so far you've had some quite a bit of frequency here, but like, what's the overall goal for how often this happens? 1, and 2, what is the nicest house that we should expect in Miami Hack Week? Go.
Yeah, rapid fire. Well, I mean, I feel like we're gonna be forced by the community to do this again in August. Like I can already tell. Like we literally have sponsors who committed to like be the sponsor of like August, and I was like, who is throwing an event in August? But if there's a request to do it, I mean, we've had some amazing supporters. Who like allow me to like hire a team, for instance. So like we count on those relationships, and obviously like if we can mobilize those partnerships, always happy to throw Miami Hack Week again in August. And then the nicest house, I'm not gonna lie, it's like very hard to choose. Like between like SoftBank's house isn't even announced on our website, and that's going live like today, Friday. So by the time this goes out, people will be able to see the SoftBank house. Like we also have the Ramp house on the Venetian Islands. Launch House has like a pretty dope house up in North Miami. I feel like all the houses just like have their unique thing to them. So they're all going to be like pretty fun.
So happy you guys have like taken up this initiative and done this and grown this. This has had such a major impact on like growing the community and encouraging the tech talent to sort of realize that there are kindred spirits here, that there are other people who get into this stuff, because I know one of the biggest complaints for a lot of the tech talent here in South Florida is they think that no one else is like them here, that there's no one else interested in the same stuff, that no one else wants to build, like crazy algorithms or whatever, right? Or DeFi yield tools or whatever it is, right? So again, I tip my hat to you, and I appreciate all the work you're doing and your team is doing.
Thank you so much, Brian.
But by the way, what's this? We're reading on Twitter that you're trying to do a Miami Tech trip to Jamaica. You got any news about that?
100%. I mean, if you know me, or if you've seen me having fun, then you know that I'm very Jamaican. And I hold my home country, even though Miami's like my new home. I hold Jamaica like so dear to my heart. And there's so many people here in Miami who I love and care about, that I want them to come back home and see what the culture in Jamaica is like. So I was like, all right, cool. I should probably I'm going back for my mom's birthday. I was like, all right, what if I like bring a bunch of people and basically do our little.
What if I bring 30 friends?
Yeah, like bring 30 friends and we set up like a hacker house in Miami, where we're all just like living and co-working and like experiencing the Jamaican culture for like a week. So that's the idea. But I'm honestly just trying to get through the 23rd, and then I'll worry about like anything else after that.
All right, Jadon. This is my audition for the Jamaica trip. Ready?
Let's go.
Wagwan.
Oh my God, that was pretty good.
All right, there. I feel right. Like I've been practicing for a couple of years. I love Jamaica. So.
Yeah, no, that was spot on.
Good stuff. Maria, Brian, you know any words?
I do, but they're not safe for safe for work.
I was just hoping.
I've only been to Jamaica once, and all my Jamaican friends have only told me the things that I'm not supposed to say on the radio / podcasts.
It's literally. I was actually worried for a second because I know that's the words Jamaican typically teach people. So I was like, is Maria gonna say what I think she's about to say?
So good. Awesome, man.
Well, Jadon, we also want to congratulate you. You were recently promoted at Upstream to, I know we mentioned it earlier in the pod, your new title of Head of Business Development and Partnerships, correct?
Yeah, obviously, people see me like so involved in the community that a lot of people tend to forget that my actual job is working with the incredible team as Upstream, where I was just like serving as a marketing and community lead. So if you've interacted with our brand, you've interacted with my work. And as a company, we've kind of, I guess, like pivoted or have like extended the functionalities of our tool to include like a new feature we're calling the Collective, which is essentially a DAO, super simple DAO product, and helping like people to spin up DAOs pretty easily, and creating one of like the most like streamlined products on the market in terms of having a DAO and community tooling platform in the same space, right? So think about actually having your Discord and your DAO community in one place, so you don't have to like be switching between 50 different group chats as you're like figuring out these different things. So obviously we have a big South Florida team. Our CEO Alex lives here, our head of community Monica lives here, our head of design lives here. So we are like in full blast and committed to this ecosystem. Upstream is actually hosting an event during Miami Hack Week. They're hosting our opening bonfire party, which the community is invited to. So jump in the Upstream app in our Miami Tech community and hit RSVP. And that event is being designed in collaboration with Xiom. So it's going to be super experiential. There's going to be like an NFT gallery activation. It's going to be a really fun event. And I 100% recommend that everybody should try to at least make it to that event.
All right, let's shift gears a little bit to some news. Feel free to stick around, Jadon. So we saw that CB Insights put out the Q4 2021 investment numbers by geographic area, and this got a lot of play on Twitter. But we saw that Miami's kind of at the middle of the pack here with $2.3 billion in deals in Q4. Nancy Dahlberg from Refresh Miami pointed out that some of that data is a little funky. They have like headquarters, like for instance, MoonPay's headquarters is not listed in Miami, and therefore the numbers aren't in the deal or their numbers aren't in the data. But I'll just go through it, right? Bay Area 29 billion, New York 18 billion, Boston 8.9, LA 5.7. Seattle 2.5, Denver 2.3, and then Miami at 2.3 billion. beating out Dallas, Chicago, Austin, DC, Philly, Atlanta, and Raleigh. I mean, what do you all think about that? Jadon, we'll go with you first, and then Brian.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of capital that's just like flocked to the city is actually pretty crazy. And I think this is just like exciting in terms of just like the trajectory to go, right? So if we're just like at the beginning of like I mean, it's almost like the beginning slash middle of our journey as like an ecosystem. Can you imagine like what's down the road? And I know I saw like I think it was Brian McKean who was just like encouraging startups in the community to go and update their profiles in different places. Like we need to like a big old data cleanup. So I mean, I'm recommending that as well.
That could be a Hack Week project. Just saying.
Yeah,
just saying.
like a bot that goes through and just like it fixes all the data and making sure it's accurate, right? Yeah. But I mean, it shows that we still have our work like cut out for us if we want to be like competing with the big guys, right? And that's even in just like very simple areas such as ensuring that historically underrepresented founders are actually accessing capital. And I know there are founders here in our community who have expressed that that's also been a problem. So this is great, but we still have work to do. And I mean, we are doing the work. So that's why I am always super excited about anything that's happening here in Miami, because it's never just like all talk. There are people, not like Maria, Cesar, Brian, like when y'all leave here, y'all are heading out to do the work. And that's what will continue to make this community incredible.
Brian, this is a big, big difference from the days when you were, building scrappy tech companies here in Miami, and the quarterly raise was 2,600, right?
I mean, I don't think for the first like 10 years of Refresh, I don't think we ever passed 50 million in total annual fundraising in Miami, and that was usually like one random whale would pull in 20 million for their like biotech sensor company or whatever it was, right? But this, like, having the data is something that's actually critically important. Like, so we didn't announce it yet. Maybe it'll come out by the time this airs, but so I'm helping Mayor Levine Cava on her tech community initiatives. And so one of the things that we're working on is cleaning up all this data to make sure that everybody's working from the same data set, because, I think a lot of that data came from CB Insights. Crunchbase is another big source, and so is PitchBook, but like none of them have a solid pulse on Miami fundraising data and Miami startup data. And so that's on us, and that's on the community to like submit that information, to like share it with Refresh, share it with any central organization, so that we can all get on the same page, because it's impossible for us as a community to like manage stuff if we don't know what the metrics are already, right? Like, how can we like say if we're making meaningful improvements on diversity, equity, inclusion initiatives, or education pipeline, talent pipeline stuff, if we don't know where we're starting from, right? If we're just pulling numbers out of our butt and then saying, yeah, we had a 50% improvement. Did we? Maybe we had 100% improvement, or maybe we only had a 5% improvement. I think that's critical to like making sure we're all moving in the right direction. And it still shocks me that how much money is flowing into this community now. It's like, it's crazy. I mean, Jadon, you haven't been here as long as the rest of us, but like in just the short time that you've been down here in South Florida in this tech community, like it's grown immensely just from this, in that time frame.
I agree with what you said, Brian. And by the way, way to drop that little humble brag in there that you're advising Mayor Levine Cava. I like that. So we got to learn more about those efforts. But I saw another mayor jump in on some interesting. I don't know if you all saw Francis's like back and forth with Marcelo Clare from SoftBank, where he said that they need to maintain, like his goal is to maintain a current 200% growth rate for 2 consecutive years. That would double his, the city of Miami's current valuation and $3.5 billion deal flow, putting at a $14 billion total raise by 2024. I think I got that right. but I may have butchered the math there. But I mean that is that doable, Maria? Do you think we can get to a point where in 2024 we see $14 billion of venture capital flowing to Miami companies?
Yeah, anything's possible with Mayor
Maria's
Suarez.
like, yeah,
if
of course.
anything's been proven.
Maria's like, yeah, I'm gonna write most of those checks.
No, maybe.
But by the way, huge shout out to both mayors for like being partners for Miami Hack Week. I just love, like, it's refreshing to have local leadership who wants to like invest in the tech community. And I, like with like both mayors, like having that level of commitment and having incredible people who understand the industry very well, like working with them, like Brian, like Chessie, like Saeed, and all these incredible folks. Yeah, we can definitely do it. And yeah, I'm super excited about that.
So I got to throw in an additional note regarding that fundraising amount. So we said, Cesar, you said it was 2.3
in Q4. Yeah.
Oh, in just Q4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was looking at our list that we tabulated from just public information, not from PitchBook and all these others, and we had 5.6 billion for Miami in just 2021.
Yeah, no, Q4. And, definitely it's a good point, right? You got to like take a step back and look at growth rates and the annual numbers and all of that. One or two big deals in a metro can skew those numbers significantly, right? So to your point on having better data, it would be interesting to see like total number of companies funded, right? So you can see if there's, how much of this 2.3 billion is spread around, a few $1 million seed raises versus, a big Series C that took up a big chunk of it, right? Like, so, but that said, I mean, incredible numbers. My takeaway on this is that we are almost half of Los Angeles, and $200 million in that quarter away from Seattle, and those two in particular felt very surprising to me, right? Like, we will get to a point where more venture capital is flowing into Miami than Miami startups in Seattle, which is crazy, right? Like the birthplace of like some of the most amazing companies in the world. So that's encouraging, at least.
Yeah, not to mention that LA has 4 times the population that Miami has.
Right.
Seattle's probably comparable to Miami in size, but like, I don't know. Well, I guess Bay Area skews that because it's smaller than Miami population wise, but we're all playing catch up to the Bay Area.
Jadon, let's close it out. Anything you want to last minute things you want to throw on the pod? Any plugs? When are you going to start a company yourself? Go. Got him. He has to contain his thoughts here after that one.
Yeah, I mean, I always say, like, for Miami Hack Week, you just have to be there.
Boom. Love it. Jadon, thanks for joining. This was, again, congratulations on the biggest news this year for you. You were the first returning guest on the Miami Tech Pod.
What a way to kick off the year.
Awesome. No, thanks for joining us, man. Really exciting. Again, congrats on all the success. And we can't wait to do the recap episode of Miami Hack Week because it's going to be pretty epic. And thanks for all you do in the community. To the listeners, thanks for tuning in. We have some exciting guests coming up. So make sure you hit us up at Miami Tech Pod on Twitter. And yeah, we'll be with you next week. Take care, everyone.